now as a head coach,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of this theme of a business trip. What did that mean for you guys?
Yeah, the business trip, that really wasn't. That wasn't.
Maybe this is just on social media.
That wasn't the language that we used. I mean, yeah, it's tricky. You know, you're going east, and then like we've done a lot of the studies in the off season with all like what Pete had done. We had tremendous success. So trying to understand the why and the how behind all that, and see if we could replicate it. And then just had to did the studies like that Sam Ramsden set up, and had the sleep specialist. So we tried to do all the things. And we won the game, which is great, but you're always looking at I say process and results. It's like, hey, there's some things that we're going to be able to do better. So we haven't been able to get all the opinions and stuff, but we're really going to attack it because it's going to happen another couple times. And I felt like there's some things we can improve on, and just having a hard time putting your finger on it right now, but we'll be able to make some tweaks kind of moving forward.
I say this to Salk all the time in my production meetings.
Uh-huh.
When coaches repeat themselves, it's a little tell for me, like especially messaging-wise, going into a game and whatever. But it's kind of cool to hear you talk about, and you've done this through the OTAs, through training camp, now into the regular season. You do enjoy the sports science element that is really important in this organization.
Yeah, I think we had great infrastructure here from the get-go. I mean, Sam Ramsden does a great job kind of leading his team, and then we have a great analytics crew that we're trying to deploy. And then, great info can come anywhere. And to me, like, if it's going to help us win, then and we can make it part of our process without trying to go crazy and taking a huge left turn, then it's probably worth doing. So I think that's pretty simple, But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, just looking for edges.
I would imagine that Ryan Grubb during a game is sort of in the same spot, right? You're not standing next to him.
Uh-huh.
He's up in a booth. I know you gave him the game ball. We got to see the video of that in the locker room. What did he do best in that game?
Man, I thought we had a great plan going in, and then we were able to adjust as the game went on. I still felt like he stayed really aggressive, and I mean, this isn't a shot. Like it was more as a, hey, accept this on behalf of the offense. I mean, you go back. I mean, you can just rattle. I mean, Gino played a tremendous. Watching the tape again, I thought he played a tremendous game. DK had a great game. Jackson had a great game. I mean, you can just kind of go down the list. So it's kind of hard to give one game ball out. So I felt like it was offensive line protected well for the most part. I mean, there's some things we gotta look at, but there's a lot of good going around, So and I felt like we called it. We kind of felt like we were the aggressor throughout the course of the game. So and then just to finish it off the way that we did offensively, I thought it was well earned on his part.
I'm going to get to some Grubb questions and system questions here in a little bit, but take me back to your first plane ride home. It's a long one now from all the way from the East Coast. It's probably a 6-hour flight home. You told us last week after the win, you had family in.
Yep.
You didn't necessarily watch the tape until the next morning. I'm going to guess on a long flight like that, you probably got to the tape right away.
I got you, Brock. I got you, buddy. I did not watch it.
You did not watch it yesterday on the plane ride home?
No, it's too emotional. It's like I would have been, because I know there's some things popping up on defense. Like I knew I needed to watch with like a clear head, Okay. So I watched it, and then so what I do now is I just video guys make like a edit that goes from the first kick all the way to the last play. So I kind of watch all three phases in order. Okay. And that gives you a help of like what happens, kind of puts things in context and stuff.
So I didn't watch it, but you didn't want to watch it.
No, I never do. No, I could pop around and all the coaches are watching it. I don't know how you guys do this. So I didn't talk to some of the players on some of the things. Give Spoon a bunch of crap about something. Reek when we blitzed Reek and he missed the sack. He had to hear about that one. So
does Boye have to? Boye spent the entire day in the backfield.
Yeah, the numbers didn't show for it. Yeah, the numbers didn't support how he's playing right now. He's doing a really good job, but he needs to finish some sacks, man.
I asked Brock this earlier. Maybe this is a dumb question, which wouldn't be a first for me, nor a last. Does he need to slow down? Is he playing too fast?
No, that's no.
It's a dumb question.
I'm not gonna. I mean, you said it.
I guess what I'm saying is there something in those moments where he can pause or needs to do things a little bit differently to finish those plays?
Yeah, I think it's just getting used to like being in those positions. Like you can't get close to the quarterback throughout the off season, and so you're trying to win rushes and then trying to be also in position to make the play on the quarterback. So converting to some power, maybe making more inside moves. He brought Jacoby down on the one, but he didn't have he didn't have his right arm down. Jacoby just kind of threw it away. So there's some good finishes on there too. It's just I think he did have to end up with one. This was the first third down. That was it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was telling Salk earlier, Coach, watching these young rookie quarterbacks and watching Caleb last night in particular, you can see that he's just trying to do it the right way, trying to build this foundation, play from the pocket first. He even told Collinsworth and those guys all of that. Is you're going about some of these firsts here, right? Your first home game last week, your first long East Coast 10 a.m. kick, and first time managing through an overtime game and all of that. Does it feel like it's a first for you? Or, as Salk has said before, you kind of have this wisdom. It feels like you've been there before at times with the way you're handling it. Yeah. Does it feel like a first, though?
It's funny. I think that's a great point. It's like, we haven't gone through these things as a whole staff, me personally as well. So, you're trying to do kind of the wisdom of the crowd, what you feel like is kind of best practices as you're going through navigating things for the first time, but then these things are going to evolve, right? Like how we get feel for how we're going to manage the game, especially late in the game. These fourth down decisions, lots of stuff that you're just going through it, and you kind of start to find even just hey, first team meeting with the guys. Hey, I'm giving it my best shot, but that's definitely wasn't my best fastball, since then. So it's and you just try to keep getting better at the things, and it'll become kind of mold in our identity as we go. I think that's definitely a fair assessment for sure.
So the fourth and one decision you made to kick the field goal, 58 seconds left or so in the game. Take me through the decision a little bit, because that's got to be a hard one.
Yeah, sure. It'd been great to get it on third down. It was a little bit longer than it comes down to hey, is it 6 inches? Is it a yard? Is it a yard and a half? That plays into what you're going to call, and confidence wise of whether to get it. And then only having the 2 timeouts is definitely has a plays a factor. The numbers were about even, analytically speaking. Matter of fact, it actually favored slightly to go for it in that situation.
Do those analytics numbers take into account the new kickoff rule?
Yes,
they do. So knowing that they're going to get the ball at the 30.
You might not get it at the 30, but it's expected start line.
Right.
Yeah. And all the data's in on that either. So that's going to be an evolving.
The expected start line's got to be a lot farther than it used to be this year. No.
I can't speak for earlier years, but. Yeah, right now it's around the 28.
And as good as those numbers, Mike,
wow.
and as good as those numbers, and I've heard this from coaches, it adapts and it's got every scenario and every situation. It cannot have the 3rd and 1 stuffed. It can't have that previous play, right? Reacted immediately in real time you've got to do.
Yeah, that's my job, right? Is kind of figure out, hey, what's our plan for these scenarios? What do we have called? How have they been playing us? There's a lot of factors going on there too, so it's kind of hard to be hey, you can't make these cut and dry decisions all the time. Now if they're super favorable and you feel like you got a good play, then definitely want to stay aggressive in those situations. But for that one, we had a 4th down earlier in the game, could have gone up 7. We had a really good drive going. It was 3rd and longer. I wasn't really necessarily expecting to get to a 4th and 1 there. 4th run was a go going into the series, and in hindsight, you probably should have kicked it. But it's just, you can't play this what if game. You just feel hey, the process going into the decision was all right. We didn't necessarily move the guys off the ball, which is disappointing. But just kind of move it, kind of learn from there and go from there.
Who gives you that information in the moment?
So we know it in the series what we're going to go for. They basically Brian gives me the strength of when it's a go on the chart. And then
Brian who?
Brian Ayers, excuse me.
Got it.
Yeah. So he's giving me that going into the series, and then I'm kind of saying, and then I kind of give Grubb as soon as I can. Hey, this is when it's going to be a go, or think it's going to be a go, or it might be, or hey, I think we're going to punt. And then so Jay's on the same line, Jay Harbaugh, so we're all kind of working together, so we're on the same page going to fourth down. But that, that doesn't just affect your second down or third down call, it affects your second down call, so on and so forth.
So he's got to know, especially Ryan in that case, has to know what you're thinking about fourth down in order to call second and third down.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not fair to be like on third down and be like, oh yeah, after you called it, oh yeah, next play we're going to go for it too. Like, that's not cool.
So you guys didn't really know each other before you end up here, right? You guys don't go back 10 years of working together and all that. So what have you guys done to build that relationship, develop that trust here, just in a fairly short amount of time?
Well, it's not easy because defense requires a lot of my time, and because of just we're working from scratch on defense as well. So we're coming along, but it's still it's a hefty part of your responsibilities. There's only so many hours in the day. I just think I really man, this isn't a shot at like offensive guys, but Ryan has like a really open mind, and is willing. He listens, and he's willing to like scrimmage things out situationally with you, where you're coming from, what he's thinking. It's like he's not afraid to be like, well, I was thinking this, and just have it not to be like the right thing. And then me too. So like it's my job to create this environment of like, hey, we're just looking for the best thing here. This is the mentality. And we're going to try each other's assumptions, and we're not perfect by any stretch, but as long as you have that type of mentality going into those conversations, I feel like you can get on the same page easier. And it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's just like what's right, what's best for us in those situations and how we want to call it. We're working through all those things now. This is going to be an ongoing thing throughout the season and into years, moving forward. We're always going to be kind of having all these things are going to always pop up, and you try to just handle it the best you can and apply it as the game kind of goes in. So, I really appreciate his approach, just when we have these conversations and having an open mind.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's going to lead to a lot of fun discussion for Salk and I the rest of the week. So thank you for planting that seed in my brain. The other thing, Coach, is you mentioned perfect. Nothing's ever perfect in the NFL, but the sabermetric guys and stat guys tell me that yesterday, out of Geno Smith's 44 passes, not one of them was off target. Not one of them was inaccurate. That's at least, the guys that evaluate and watch their own tape and do all that stuff. But 44 attempts, he did not have an off-target pass.
That's pretty
possible?
Good.
Huh?
Is that good?
That's unbelievable.
I'm replaying the game in my mind right now, and that sounds right. I can't think of one that I can't find one where it was like, hey, yeah, that was a bad throw. He played a tremendous game.
How does he do that right now at this stage, just 2 weeks into this whole new system for him with Grubb as well?
Well, yeah, I think it's credit to his approach in the offseason. This guy has absolutely grinded it out. Just took this thing head on from the get-go, totally bought in taking in the process, the new language, the reads, all the audibles, all the moving parts, the moving and shifting, so I think Geno deserves a tremendous amount of the credit here on how he's playing. We've said it, but his work ethic is just tremendous. And when you work and you stack all those reps, you can play confidently and deliver the ball on time. And the receivers have to be in the right. There's a lot of things going on too. Protection's got to be right. This Brock.
Oh yeah. Protection's
got to be right. The guys got to be in the right spots. We got to get to the right plays in certain situations. So everybody is in on that. But like I said, Geno's right there at the forefront of the whole thing, and he deserves a lot of credit.
Where are you at with your offensive line right now?
Yeah, I think we need to run the ball better. That's like, hello, that's obvious. So we're going to be working for that, That's going to be a work in progress. But if you would have had the same conversation at the end of the Denver game, you would have said, hey, we were fine on our
right.
So right now we're in this, I wouldn't say in flux, but we're just trying to find, hey, what are the schemes that we can kind of hang our hat on, how we're operating. This is an ongoing process. I'm optimistic with it. I'm confident that we're going to be able to get it done. Personnel-wise, I thought Stone came in and played pretty well at right tackle. And at right guard, I see it ongoing right now with AB, and Christian probably deserved a few more reps the way he played. And he got edged on the one where Geno got hit on the on the one that I think Pepper's got his hand on. But other than that, I thought Christian played pretty solid. I thought AB had a lot of really good reps too. So, I think we'll look in keeping that competition rolling here.
And how about the flip side of that? You stop the run at the end of the game, and I love, again, the post-game and the locker room and the credit for the reps and the preparation, and obviously an awesome job by Dotson to pull the trigger and get that done. But overall, in the run game, as you mentioned, post-game, 185 yards is allowed is just not going to be sustainable. Anything jump out on the tape with that, Coach?
I'll start with me. I mean, just with the plan and the preparation and some of the things that we put the guys in those spots. I can be way better. I can be better. I need to be better on what we're asking those guys to do and give them some looks that we haven't practiced. Mm-hmm. So I deserve as much finger pointing as anybody in that. So I need to improve. And then when you watch the tape, it's just simple. Like applying the fundamental to the situation, alignments, how you're leveraging the block, how we strike blocks. I mean, all the things that showed up in the first game that was positive. I thought we took a step back this game. I think we ended up with like 10 missed tackles, the ball getting out on our edge. It's like, hey, you never make it in this league. It's always it's a week to week, prove it to me. It's like that has to be the mentality. So, but you're right. I mean, it's just 180 yards. It's just makes you sick to your stomach.
Are you harder on your defense than you are on your offense?
You probably know the answer to that. I don't want to say it.
Well, do you in some ways have to be? Because of again, you're forming a new relationship with an offensive coordinator and giving him space to really design his offense as you're spending some time, as you said, a lot of time right now with the defense. Do you almost have to be especially hard on them?
I just think I know defense better. So I'm still learning. Like there's principles of our offense that as a staff and as a team, we're not there where we need to be. So like that's what I'm chasing, the schematics and how we're running all the stuff and how we call the game. Like, that's why we have an offensive. That's why we have an offensive staff. That's why Grubb does what he does, and you got to trust those people to do their job. But how we play the game, I would say is equally, equally as important. I mean, the whole special teams is the same way. If we're not finishing in dominant position, if we're not playing with our hair on fire, if we're not sound fundamentally, then I'm a stickler for. I mean, those are the things that we have to make sure that we're great all the time at, and that's what's frustrating. Like there's two parts of the frustration on defense. One, felt like I could have called a better game, could have had a better plan. I did think we adjusted well throughout the game, so give myself some grace on that one. But like to start out, felt like we could have been better, and then and then there's the fundamental piece too that like doesn't really matter what you're in. It's about how you're playing the game, how you finish plays. We need to take a step in that direction positively as well.
How did the young Rook play, thrown in the fire there once Baker goes out with the injury? How did Knight play?
I think he made some plays. He didn't really get exposed in that matter. There's some rookie mistakes that he lost his eyes and played with some leverage that he's going to want back, and he just looks back and says, hey, I've made that play 1,000 times. Just got to go do it. Mm-hmm. So now that he's done it, now he's seen it for real in live and in color. Regular season, I think we'll see him take a jump here. So there's much needed experience for him because he's been doing it all off season. You've seen him in preseason, but as it's different when it's regular season out there. Game moves faster, and you just got to be able to go apply your training.
I'm just kind of fascinated, by the way, your first answer. I'm just trying to picture you on a 5.5, 6 hour plane ride. So did you just kind of, pop around I think Julian said everyone's like a first class seat, which is really nice. Did you just kind of pop around and sit with all the different guys and mingle with them and mess with Spoon for the majority of the flight?
No, we're just sitting around before the plane takes off. And once it took off, like I was trying to watch the game, the Sunday night game. And then I decided not to watch it, and I put on The Last Kingdom. I'm trying to watch that on Netflix.
Wow!
And I fell asleep, so it was good. I'm probably like I do all these things and it's like I don't have anything interesting to say.
Good.
Yeah, actually, AD's wife put me onto that one because I'm like obsessed with English history, but I'm kind of weird guy.
All right. Wow. We're learning a lot about the coach today. This is good. This is one of the fun things about getting to do this every week is just sort of learning a little more about who you are. What have you learned? And maybe we'll leave it here. What have you learned so far about your team?
Man, a lot. You know, all the things that we said we want to be about. There's a lot of positives with it. I mean, the poise that we have. I think we're a connected team. I think we have confidence in one another. I just felt like we haven't batted an eye with all the crap that's happened in the first two games. You know, these games it's the NFL. Like these things are going to happen. I'm just really, just the way we pulled the game out at the end, staying poised, making the plays we needed to make after, defensively didn't really put our best foot forward. Offensively, hey, moving and adjusting, the run game, we're still going to have to attack that. But, in the pass game, just kept saying, hey, look, this is our best chance to go win it. This is how we're going to have to go do it. Let's go do it. And guys making plays in those critical situations was just, which is awesome. And that's going to have to happen for us to have success. We're just going to have to do that on a weekly basis. So we're in the right direction. It's just, that's where it is. I think it's awesome to come away with a win going across the country. It's like, it's not easy. That's a good New England Patriot team. They're like, just like all the things we said throughout the week, I think that showed up on tape. And so like, you're super happy about it. Like you're excited. And now you're saying, okay, well, let's come back down to earlier because we got a game. We got to get ready for the next game, which is another really good team. And let's look to take the next step here because it's so early.
What kind of challenges does the Miami offense throw at you?
Well, I got a backup QB, nothing, no problem, piece of cake. Easy.
Yeah. Not even close. Brock, not taking that one.
They got some pretty good weaponry over there.
Little speed.
Yeah, we are in Baltimore. We played Miami 2 years ago. We all know how that ended. We played Miami last year. And they're evolving too. They're in year 3 now of their scheme, and so you're seeing the evolution of how they're growing. But can put up a lot of points in a hurry. We've seen that. Like it's just so you got utmost respect for how they design it with Mike Macdonald and his staff, and then all the weapons around they have it. It's just it's a really well built system. It's explosive. I haven't gotten in the weeds yet on all the things, but we started that process, and then I got to join you, find people.
Do you like to go up against a guy like Mike?
Do I?
I'm sure it's hard, but do you enjoy the challenge of some of the going up against some of the good offensive lines?
I don't see it as I don't enjoy it's just you like getting your guys prepared so they can go play. Uh-huh. That's what you're that's the. When you have a well-prepared team on Sunday, you're like, okay, all the crap throughout the week was worth it. Otherwise you're just sitting around staring at the wall throughout the week. That's not getting anything done.
I love the grind.
I feel like Mike's always trying to get me.
I'm not at all. I think everybody thinks I'm trying to get them. I'm not. I'm trying to get you.
In a good way. Aha. I found out a new nugget about Mike. Like a good guy.
Just trying to learn about you. We're just trying to learn who
Coach,
you are.
We're all just evolving. We're all just growing.
I'm an open book, obviously.
Yeah. Should we talk injuries? That'll really allow your openness.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that'll come out. Yeah. What do you guys want to know?
I'm not even going to ask because I don't think I'm going to get much
smart
of an answer.
guy.
Yeah, I learned that one very quickly last week. Coach, thank you. Congratulations, 2-0 in 2 weeks. Pretty cool accomplishment with an opportunity to play Miami this week back at home. Congrats, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
All right, great. Thanks, guys.
There we go. Mike. And we're done for the day.